So I'll start this video off by saying that I'm all for self-improvement. I'm all for us as guys being able to improve in all aspects of life, health, finances, relationships, and such. However, I don't think it's something that you should do all the time. And by this, I mean spending every waking hour thinking, worrying, and stressing about trying to improve all the time. And I think part of this has been, culturally speaking, the idea of hustle culture has been getting pushed out quite a bit. And again, right, I spend a good bit of my time working on things meaningful to me in improving on my health. I go to the gym, 4 days a week. I work on my, YouTube and game development stuff, very consistently as well. So I'm all for that. However, I have noticed, especially in the past, I had a really difficult time in being able to detach away from the work that was meaningful to me. And just detaching away and be able to do different things, right? And this often, really, or at least the most meaningful things and thing that I enjoy doing is just spending time with family, right? Being able and, perhaps going out for walks, but just detaching away from the stuff I'm doing at the moment. And what I've come to realize is, although the work I do at the moment is meaningful and fulfilling, being able to take a break from that and being able to, for example, spend time with family, with friends, being able to just perhaps even spend some time on my own, just not actually having to think or worry about work, that has also been quite rewarding as well. And that's actually changed for me over time because I used to be in a state where I was very, very overstimulated. I would always be just sort of, trying to get that dopamine hit from whatever it was. And so I could never really appreciate that. I could never really appreciate the time I spent with loved ones as much as I do now, and so on and so forth. So I think a lot of it really is just I really want this video to be a way where perhaps you can maybe consider if actually you're putting way too much pressure on yourself as well. Because again, you only have so much time in the day to do certain things. And a lot of it isn't just simply about like about right, how can I, work for as long as I can without burning out? Right? Sure, maybe it is, but it's also their level of consistency. And by consistency, which you've probably heard plenty of times, I mean, can you work, a relatively similar amount of hours, or ideally, can you achieve similar levels of work or output over a consistent period of time? So for me, I've been focusing on right, can I get 2 deep work sessions done every single day? Right. And by deep work sessions, I mean an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of me just sort of sat there working and being uninterrupted. If I can do that, which over the last sort of 8, 9 days I have been able to, then that's good. And I will mark that as a good day. Sure, if I can do a bit more, that's ideal, but that's a good day. And I think it's trying to also identify what you would class as being a good day. And I think a lot of us, we set the bar way too high, which isn't always bad, but it can often really sort of kick us down, where it gets to a point where for me, like I used to just think that I never had any good days. It was never good enough. I could never do enough. And although sometimes that did help, a lot of the times it really just kicked me down. So that's my thoughts on this video. I think really a lot of the time you just need to take pressure off yourself and you need to understand, well, what is the outcome for a good day so that you can maintain consistency with things, but also find enjoyment from things outside of the work you do.